What is up, everyone? Ryan Haury here with another poker vlog. Yes, it has been a while. I haven't played since October. It's February right now. I am driving out right now to Hammond, Indiana to play in the World Series of Poker circuit event there at the Horseshoe. Before COVID happened, I actually always wanted to go out there and play. This is my first opportunity since they started it back up. And yeah, I'm excited to drive out there. I obviously haven't had vlogs in a while. You know, that's the downside of vlogging tournament poker only is, you know, trying to find a good tournament worth vlogging. Plus, I haven't played too much because of the holidays and travel and such like that. So, and also, if you watched my vlogs last year, you notice I played a lot of big buy-in events, $1,000 buy-ins, which I really don't do too often. My comfort level's more in the $400, $600 range. I think it's a little bit more fun and entertaining to me, and also the fields are softer, so they're a little bit better for me to win in. So yeah, it's good to talk to you guys again, and I don't really have any set structure. I'm gonna go out right now and play, I think it's like event 1 or 2, where it's a $500,000 guarantee, $400 buy-in. So I'll be playing that event tonight at 5 o'clock. Still got about 2 hours to go. Driving from Detroit. So yeah, I'll see you guys at the next break or the end of the tourney. We'll play it by ear and talk to you guys later. All right, good morning, good Saturday morning from Chicago, downtown. I played at Hammond, Indiana at the Horseshoe yesterday, the World Series of Poker circuit event number 1, $500K guarantee, $400 buy-in. All right, let's get started. So it's Saturday, obviously. I played all day yesterday and got to my hotel at 5 a.m. last night. And it's like 10 a.m. here, so I'm running on like a couple hours of sleep. But, so, basically what happened was, starting stack was 20,000 in chips. It was a pretty rough first 6 hours. I really struggled to ever get above 20,000 in chips. Then I got in a pretty big roll, and then the next 6 hours were a lot more easy. But basically, I ended up having to fire 2 bullets, 2 buy-ins. The first one, I pretty much bluffed off my chips, and this is the only hand I really want to talk about because I get in these situations where I want to get a little better at check raising, find hands to check raise flops with that are bluffs, obviously, and then, you know, determining what I should continue to do on the turn. Typically, if you pick up more equity on the turn, you want to keep just firing, which basically builds a pot enough to just bluff jam on the river. So that was what basically happened in this hand. Hijack limped. I was on the big blind with 8 of hearts, 6 of diamonds. Flop was 10, 7, 4. So I had a double gutter. I needed a 5 or a 9 to hit a straight. So I checked, he bet, and I check raised. So he ended up calling. Turn was like a 3 of hearts. And I have an 8 of hearts, so I think that's another great turn card. So I bet like 60% pot, and I'm basically trying to set up a jam on the river. He tanked for a bit and ended up calling. River was an ace of diamonds, which I don't know if this is a good bluff card or not, because if he did call the flop with like ace of hearts with backdoor hearts, he just hit his ace on the river. That's the only really combination of hands I can think he can have there, because there's not many combos he's calling a check raise with on the flop. But I have 8 high here. I miss all my draws. This is the worst hand I'm going to get to the river with, I think. And I think in those cases, you are going to have to bluff jam. I jam and he snaps. He did have like ace 4, ace of hearts, so he did have that combo. I kind of expected him to fold a 4 there, but with backdoor hearts with the ace of hearts, maybe his play wasn't that bad and mine was horrible. I'm not sure, but That was the big hand. That was pretty painful to show 8 high there, unfortunately. So that was kind of embarrassing, but.
All right, gonna pause here for a second. I thought it would be fun to jump into see this hand in GTO Wizard, just to confirm that jamming all in on the river with 8 high isn't the work of a crazy person. So let's get started here. If you don't know GTO Wizard, it's a pretty cool online platform that is a solver. If you have any questions about hands that you played or want to study and practice GTO, this is the best way to do it. I think it's like $40 a month for like the basic plan, but you can solve like one hand, I think, for free a day. So let's get started here. The one thing to note that is going to affect the percentages in this hand, the biggest difference is that hijack actually limped in this hand instead of raising. And I think because he limped instead of raising, he's going to be capped, which means he's not going to have aces, he's not going to have kings, he's not going to have ace king and ace queen, because he would most likely raise those hands. So because he only limped in, I think that means I get to check raise and bluff jam a little bit more often because there's less aces in his range. We look at the big blind, and 8-6 offsuit is a fold, but because obviously he limped, we get to check and see the flop for free. So that is going to shrink down our percentages in the future actions, just because this big blue chunk of folds is going to not be in there. Green is calls. And as you can see here to the right, 8 of hearts, 6 of diamonds is our hand right here in the middle. Flop 10-7-4, big blind's going to be checking most of their range, if not all, and all green here is checks. The hijack here, you can see 33% of the time he's going to be betting 5 into a 6 big blind pot right here. So he's going to be supposed to be using a larger sizing, but because this is a limp pot, the pot's a little bit smaller, and I believe he went with a smaller sizing. So if you click on the smaller sizing here, calculates, and this is what the big blind's action is supposed to be. You can see with the 8 of hearts, 6 of diamonds here, I am supposed to do a lot of check raising. You can see right here, call 32% of the time, and then raise these different sizes at this percentage. And then this is how the hijack responds. So he calls, turn is the 3 hearts. This is what the big blind is supposed to do on the turn. You can see betting again most of the time here with the 8 of hearts, 6 of diamonds as a bluff. It picked up more equity on the turn, and it's doing about half pot bet here. I think I did a 60% pot, but it likes a little bit like smaller, like a third pot bet. But let's just say we do indeed go a little bit bigger. Hijack calls. River is an ace of diamonds. It decides between checking half the time and going all in half the time. So my all in bluff on the river actually does make a little bit of sense. Although you can see it happens a very small percentage of the time, but that's just the time that we actually get to the river with those specific actions taken. The one thing to note on the turn, if I bet a little bit smaller in the hijack calls, now we are doing 100% all in if we did that smaller sizing on the turn instead. And the other thing to note as well is if the 3 of hearts, say, turns into a 3 of spades instead, and we lose that flush blocker, it's doing 100% check now because it's using the heart, the 8 of hearts, as a flush blocker. But obviously, when you take that extra heart away and there's only 2 hearts on the board, it doesn't use that as a bluff anymore. So GTO Wizard is showing that I played the hand okay. It does go all in most of the time. And I think that just confirms it for me that I played it okay.
Whatever, fast forward, I bust like a half hour later, we fire a second bullet. So it still continued to be like kind of rough, hard to get above 20,000 in chips. And then kind of England sits down. If you don't know her, she's been a crusher the last couple of years. She won an MSPT lately. She's very loose aggressive, really tough opponent to play against. She was fun to play against too because she was drinking. So she was very talkative and loud, and it was fun. But basically, I had ace 9 of clubs, early position. I only had 10 bigs. I'm jamming that. She called with 10s. I get lucky and spike an ace. About a half hour later, it was the opposite situation. She was in, I want to say she was in the cutoff. I was on the big blind. She jammed for about 8 big blinds, and I snapped with ace of clubs, 6 of clubs. She was pretty mad because I snapped with that hand, and a couple people were like, wow, that was a quick call with ace 6 of clubs. I'm like, yeah, it's for 8 big blinds and whatever. That's a snap. Against her specifically, because she's a good player that is capable of pushing with hands, and of course she had 8-7 of clubs, and we were able to bust her out. So that felt good because A, she's a tough player to play against, but B, she ended up knocking me out of an MSPT a couple years back in Iowa. So it was really nice to kind of repay that and knock her out instead. So after that, we just killed it. Like, we just went on a super run, just heater, like coolering people left and right. If they had ace king, they would jam into my aces or kings. They would have ace queen, I'd have jacks, I'd win flips. Just winning my 60-40s, my 50-50s. Those are the hands you need to win big time, to win tournaments. And I was just winning them. So yeah, I played for the next like 6-7 hours. We ended up making the money. I think this is like day 2, or it's like day 1B or whatever, but basically there's like 550 players today. There was like 33 left. I ended up getting up to like 440,000, which was like a pretty nice stack. It was a beautiful looking stack to play with, but then I lost a big coin flip at the end of the night. I had pocket tens, ace queen jammed, and I called, and unfortunately we lost that flip. That would have been nice. That would have gotten us up to like 600,000-700,000. But instead we other way around, and we get down to a bag where I made day 2 with 257,000 in chips. So still pretty good chip stack. I think blinds are gonna be like 10,000, 15,000 on day 2, which is Sunday. Yeah, I'm gonna have like 17, 18 big blinds. So that's still a pretty good stack. I'm locked up like 1,100, I think, roughly right now. So obviously we need to spin that up since we fired 2 bullets. We're in for 800. So day 1C or whatever is today. That's expecting to get like 600 players. So they're gonna have 1,500 players in this, I'm guessing. So first place should be like 80K, I'm guessing. But yeah, let's spin it up and keep going, and I'll talk to you guys on day 2. Hey, what's up, you guys? Day 2 here at the World Series of Poker circuit event here in Horseshoe Hammond, event number 1. Day 2, 500K guarantee. They ended up doubling it up. It was about $1 million guarantee, 3,100 players. And unfortunately, I just busted. I finished in 63rd, so pretty darn good grind. Deep run there, finished and winning about 2.1K. So bought in 2 bullets for 400 each, so won about $1,200, which is still pretty darn nice. I basically just grinded and grinded for like 4 hours. Got down to three big blinds at one point. Jammed with Jack 4 offsuit in the small blind, ended up doubling up. And then about an hour later, I had King 8 suited on the button, jammed all in. Unfortunately, ran into Ace King offsuit, so busted. But yeah, good deep run, and this is it for today at least. I might play tomorrow, we'll see. But if not, I'll talk to you guys later. All right, we are here on Monday, event number 6, $100,000 guarantee, $400 buy-in. Unfortunately, we just busted, grinded for 6 hours, could not get anything going, so freaking card dead. It was really, really frustrating. And then I just busted. So the only hand I had that was exciting was I had pocket aces, pretty wild and loose early on. Under the gun +1, raised, it goes call, call, call. I made it like 5x to 3-bet with aces. And then there's a flat on the button. Then it goes jam, jam, and I snap with aces. So we got a triple up there.
Spade. Spade. Spade.
Good Lord.
But then, yeah, just grinded after that. Card dead, nothing going on. Ran kings into a straight. And so that hurt us a little bit. And then we just busted a small blind raise. I had 20 big blinds. A small blind raise, I had pocket 10s. I 3-bet jammed. And he tanked for a bit and ended up calling with ace-8 offsuit. And river, ace. So that was pretty painful. Had him crushed there. He had a 3-outer there. So yeah, we're done for this WSOP circuit event trip. Just 2 events and some fun times in Chicago. And I'm gonna get some dinner and drive home now back to Michigan and Detroit. But yeah, if you guys want to like and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys later.